Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Peace and blessings, man. Happy Sunday. Good to be back. Happy to see some familiars. Not that I can really tell if you're familiar or not. Just you being here, though, I appreciate it very much. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Sunday is here. Monday is right around the corner, and the week is about to begin. And I don't know where your mind state is. I'm praying that you're in a better space than you was the last week, because it can be very testing and very exhausting. Shout outs to my writers, my poets, my content creators. Shout outs to everybody who pulled up for the open mic last Friday. That was fun. I had a hell of a good time. I'm not gonna hold you. I wish I could do these type of events every day. That would be a beautiful sight. Nothing but poetry throughout the week. People just vibing, relaxing, not stressing, not worried about drama and gossip, and you know what I'm saying, just a smooth little interaction between adults, level-minded. I would so appreciate that. That would be so nice right now. If you've noticed the title, this is about dream matches. This is about seeing two or more professional wrestlers back in the day or present, depending on your era. This is about seeing something that never happened that you would have wished could have happened. We got a lot to cover. And I'm going to give you a rundown of names that came across my heart from the 80s on up, of people that I wish would have gotten the ring and never did for whatever reason. Now, I want to be clear. I thought very, very hard about this because I didn't want, for me personally, I didn't want to repeat names because it's so easy to do it. I want to try to give you separate matchups between various people. Now, the problem is there's specific people that I wanted to see against multiple, and that's why this is so difficult, because how can you say you want to see The Rock versus one person when there was at least 6 or 7 other people that The Rock could have faced off against? So I may end up blending names with other people just off of the strength that that's what I wanted. I'm a WWF child. I grew up off of WWF. I had a little bit of experience with WCW. I didn't fully commit to it. I know a few names from AEW. I know a few names from New Japan Wrestling and TNA, but WWF, before they changed it, that was my stomping grounds. You couldn't tell me about any other brand. Honorable mention ECW. I had to put that out there. ECW was absolutely up there. When ECW and WCW did the cross branding with WWF, that was fire. Some of the best creating that I saw from the business back then, when it was still ruthless and raw, and you still had blood, and you still had creative uh, back and forth between heels and faces. That was it. Uh, we got a lot to cover. A lot to cover. I'm not going to give a specific order. I'm not going to give a time frame. I'm not going to do all that. But I do have my reasonings for these. If you have any on your list that you wish you could have saw, tap in. Let me know. Matter of fact, do me a solid: like, share, repost. Let the people know that we are live. This is for my wrestling fans, whether or not you watch now or you used to watch. I'm curious to know what yours look like. The difference between now and then, to me, it's the fact that for me personally, It was a little more violent. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a lot more violent. I love the chair shots. I enjoyed those thoroughly. The chair shots, it was more uh you still had a little sexuality in there. Um the writing was exceptional. The people that were attached to the storylines and the scripts, they actually complemented each other. It wasn't like you just threw random people together in the ring. You didn't just throw random people in the ring and expected magic to happen. At Robert, yeah, bro, I did a reaction to it. I did a reaction to it. I believe I uploaded it yesterday or the day before. As far as the WWF though, what I enjoyed about it back then, it was everybody was involved. Vince McMahon was involved. Shane was involved. Stephanie was involved. Hell, Briscoe was involved. Jerry the King Lawler and JR, the best announced team ever in history. When they got on the microphone and they started talking their shit back then, you already knew it was about to be real. I want to give them their flowers too. I got to give them their flowers. Ring announcers are super underrated. Their job is to tell the story alongside the wrestlers in the ring. And when they get out there and they get ready to call the matches and they tell you the backstory between this person and that person, that's either going to make you want to watch or be invested, or it's going to say, "Oh man, this ain't really doing it for me." I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that real quick. I I just heard about it, bro. I just heard about it. I didn't get a chance to watch the review on it, but I saw that they actually released our truth. I'm upset. I'm upset. I'm pissed. I don't even watch wrestling no more for real. But our truth was one of them dudes, man, that was super underrated. They didn't give him enough credit for his comedic timing. They didn't give him enough credit for keeping in shape. The man hardly was getting injured. That man was still moving inside the ring like he was 23, 24 years old. The man is like 51, 52 years old. This man done went through so many different timelines. He went from WWF to TNA to, like, he's been damn near everywhere, and he still was moving around like RVD in his prime or something. Hold on, let me see this. Let me put this up here real quick. Sadly, R-Truth just followed Vince McMahon and Triple H. The R-Truth did. Yeah, there was an interview where I heard that he actually preferred to just be a comedian. He wasn't really even interested in taking the serious route. I don't know how true that is. I think that would have been a huge disservice. He could have actually been a champion to me. I would have preferred him over Kofi Kingston. I see six rings in the building. Let me bring him up. I'm mad about him though. I'm very mad about that. He could have put the belt on him at least one time. One time.
What's
Great.
going on, bro?
Well, life is life. R-Truth got fired or released from what I'm hearing,
Yeah, it just went down today.
and I'm like, damn, like what the
I
fuck?
was gonna say that he just got fired, bro. They released him, and it's crazy that his last opponent was John Cena. It's the You Can't See Me. Shaking my head. And I just and look, check this out. While we on our truth, I just seen a post because he been there since his 20. He been there. I think he been there the longest. Out of he got one of the oldest superstars. So he been there since like '99. Since like him and Road Dogg used to come out together. He was called K Quick. For
Mm-hmm.
anybody who followed him, he was called, that was his name. He was K Quick. And back then, he said that Bruce Pritchard and Jim Ross told him the truth. Told him that yeah, we signed you, but just understand that wrestling is still a white man's sport. Just understand that. So he was like, damn. So he say if you got a lot of you know you got a lot of white players and all that, and he said you add Michael Jordan on there. He said Michael Jordan to be the one that stand out. He said we want you to stand out. So that's where his gimmick comes from, the 24/7 championship and all his little comedian little Jimmy and all of that. That's where all that come from because he wanted to go out there and be different and steal the show and have fans talking about him when they leave because he didn't want to be the same like everybody else. He wanted to bring something different. But I do agree with you that his tenure and his conditioning, because he stayed in shape. Yeah, they should have gave him at least a run with it, at least one run with the title. I mean, he put a lot of years in. He deserved at least one ring.
Again, him, I would have preferred. I would have preferred him over Kofi Kingston by a landslide. It's not even close to me, and it's unfortunate he didn't get that push. But for what it's worth, I mean, I guess he did what he wanted to do. I don't know. Robert said he didn't politic enough. I just don't. I don't really feel like he really cared enough to even go that direction. But y'all already know how I feel about the black wrestlers in WWE anyway. So if you ain't see that video, I already felt a certain way about that. They don't fuck with black wrestlers for real, for real. So you see how they crushed Kofi. That man ain't even he had the building, then they just kind of ran over him. But
I'm gonna say it's an improvement, but going back to when they first started having them, they used to give him these cheesy gimmicks and push him far away from being one of the top people in the company. So they was always considered like a jobber or a curtain jerker. They never really gave him an opportunity to be, you know, main event worthy back in the day. But as time progresses, you had your Bobby Lashley's and stuff like that came in, and you had a few of them break through, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Like Tony Atlas come to mind. Like that man should have been like main event. He was up there with your Hulk Hogan's and them. He could have been up there with them. He never got a shot.
yeah, bro. That's a whole nother thing. I hope whatever he does after this brings him a lot of success. I hope they put respect on his name. he better be in the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, I don't know about anybody else. He's done enough to go into the Hall of Fame for me personally. Just off of what he's done. The man is 51, 52 years old. How many of them still moving like that in the ring? And
Started him when he was like 24, 25. Been doing it.
that man, and on top of that, when you really think about it, he wasn't garbage on the mic. So it's like he could wrestle. He wasn't flying around the ring like Neville or nothing like that, but he could wrestle and he was good on the mic. He made gimmicks look convincing. The whole little Jimmy shit, he talking to himself and all that shit. You don't. Randy Orton wasn't going to be able to pull that shit off. Roman Reigns ain't pulling that shit off. R-Truth is rare. What he did was rare. Kofi couldn't even do no shit like that. Brock Lesnar's not doing no shit like that.
I don't even think Cena could have did that. Man.
Hell no, Cena couldn't do that.
So R-Truth is big consistencies. I'm gonna say that he was real consistent in his career and what he was contributing to the company. And it's unfortunate that he didn't get that championship ring. But Hall of Famer for sure, because he's been there a long time. Hall of Famer.
Hey Rob, Bobby Lashley, I'm happy he even got the title, bro. Before he left. Matter of fact, shout out to the Hurt Syndicate too. They got the group back over there. That's dope. Because WWF, they fucked that up. The Hurt Business, when they had them locked in, that was the group. They should never have separated that shit. I don't know what the hell they was thinking.
They shitted on that concept. It was real. I'm gonna just say they probably felt intimidated because it's like you got all of them in suits. They all can wrestle, and then they was all having belts too. That shit looked like the Horsemen and what's the other, the Evolution. They didn't want them to get a buzz like that. But all of them was pretty dope. Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, you know his background. He can wrestle. Bobby Lashley, come on now. And then MVP, he might wasn't as skillful in the ring as them, but he had that mic work, that mic piece that made it all set off. So yeah, he brung everything back over in AEW, man, and they doing their thing. They got the tag titles, and they don't got no pushback over there.
I'm not even surprised that there was some issues between MVP and Triple H. I never was a big fan of Triple H. He has a good eye and sense for the sport, but I know, given his history, I never really was too big on Triple H like that anyway. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, my two favorite black champions was Mark Henry and Bobby Lashley, and then I'm gonna say The Rock, only because like everybody expected The Rock to win based on his history and his family. But the ones that were super slept on was Bobby Lashley and Mark Henry. When Mark Henry did the Hall of Pain shit, if they would have let that run last a little longer, that shit would have definitely been in contentions. Like, I want to actually do a segment on black champions. I already know everybody's going to say, well, The Rock was like, all right, he's The Rock. He had the mic skills, he had the charisma, all that shit. But I'm gonna think about that.
What's good? Going on, bro? I'm gonna say this: The Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He was with Tony Atlas. They was a tag team. They never let neither one of them go solo and chase the main event scene. So they got ideas for what they do with these superstars. They'll put them in tag teams and stuff, just like with New Day. Yeah, you can get tag team success, but you're not gonna stay floating around the main event like that. Bobby Lashley felt like he put in enough years and all of that. He put in enough time. There's no way that you could take me from the heavyweight championship scene and then push me down to the mid card and all of that. Like, yeah, Bobby Lashley wasn't feeling that, and they did that to Bobby Lashley. So it's like you gotta sustain your position in the company. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay in the main events.
Big
So
E,
if Big E won the title, that was yeah.
I
I'm
forgot
still
about
disappointed with Big E not wrestling right now too.
from at least from what I'm understanding, he's trying to get back. And I just saw how he injured his neck. I saw that shit, and
That shit
damn,
look heinous.
that
That injury look heinous, bro. The way he suplexed him and he landed like that, you could see it. You could see it on that mat, that rubber mat. See, people don't understand. I hear a lot of people, the average person that even talk about wrestling, the first thing they say, man, that shit's so fake. It's the fakest thing. But you gotta watch it closely. The shit is predetermined, but while you trying to get the predetermined, real shit happen in that ring. That's facts. Nia Jax, I just seen it a few weeks ago with Stratton. Nia Jax was holding up a chair. She kicked it, and it bust her side of her head open. She bleeding. She got to carry the match out because it was called predetermined. She got to deal with that injury. That injury real. You don't know what's gonna happen out there. Old girl Zodi Starks did a drop kick off the top off the ropes to the other side of the ring to Kai Sane. She didn't time it. She broke her whole fucking leg. It was heinous. But they keep saying the shit's so fake. But that injury wasn't fake. The timing of the move, the drop kick, she didn't turn around and catch the drop kick. That her leg, like her knee, it was her knee. Her knee popped right out and she dropped. So her career is possibly over right now. That was real. So I'm just saying it's the risk. It's predetermined, but it's the risk that these men and women take on their bodies. That shit is real. That's not fake.
hell no, that shit ain't fake. Shit, Sting lucky he still can do what he do. Seth Rollins fucked him up.
Cena nose got broke. He
Yeah,
had to keep kept on wrestling. You can see the bones sticking up. That don't look fake to me. Like it's a lot of stuff that happened. Big Show had an injury. They got to keep working.
I don't play around with that this wrestling shit is fake stuff. Nah. When you throwing people outside the ring and you flipping out, imagine you 6, 7, 8 foot in the air on the top of a fucking uh, rope, and then you do a 450 splash or some shit on the outside of the ring. They supposed to catch you to protect you and them, but they don't. If they miss that shit by just even a foot or a couple inches, that shit could be a wrap. Yeah, yeah, I go try that shit. But let's get into this list, man. This is yours. This is the one that you wanted to pull up with. I'm curious, what gave you the idea for this one, And to the people that's watching, if you got a list, please share it. I want to know your dream matches that never happened before that you wish you could see, if it could be possible. You got rules for this shit. I'm not following no rules. I'm going to do this shit the way I want to do it. I told you
I
that
was,
already.
I was just messing with you, bro. But I mean, this list is pretty much it's dream. It's called Dream Matches Top 10, and it's pretty much fantasy. We playing fantasy warfare real quick. You know what I'm saying? Which matches that you wish you could have seen? I got my top four for sure. I wish I could have really seen. I wish it had a chance to happen. It didn't happen. And if you love wrestling, man, you like that. You feel like you got cheated by not getting these matches done. And most of these matches pretty much should have happened at a WrestleMania or something like that. It should have went down at the big show. So you got a few missed opportunities, and that's when you come up with your dream matches.
My man said Stone Cold versus Bobby Lashley. That's one I never considered or thought about. The only thing I have a issue with as far as that one is, are we talking about Bobby Lashley when he first got the WWF, when Donald Trump was acting like he was flexing on Vince with the Umaga situation, or are we talking about this Bobby Lashley? Because the Bobby Lashley back then versus Austin, yeah, that would have been interesting to see. I don't know about this version of him.
Well, I mean, I would say since we doing fantasy, it's better to go ahead and say, yeah, that I was gonna say that, yeah, better to go ahead and do prime for prime. So I'll take your '06 '07 Lashley, and I'll put him in the ring with the '97 '98 Austin, and see what's good, and see how that's gonna pan out for him. I mean, me personally, I already know it's lights out, Stone Cold Stunner, 1 2 3.
We're gonna spin back on that one.
Carlito, yeah, I mean, and Carlito, I'm hearing also Carlito wanted to he wanted to win the title. He wanted to win some type of championship, possibly the WWE title for he rolled. I mean, he got a dad. His dad was in the company. I mean, he been in there with John Cena, the United States champion back then. And yeah, oh yeah, that's a nice one right there. That's a
Hold
good
up, hold
pick.
up. I want to address the Carlito shit first, and then that one. Damn, it's so much that we got to say here because I was about to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Let
Take
me
your time.
put this out there. Carlito was never going to win a major title. I mean, I'm talking about now. Back then, yeah, he was good. Now, no. Which brings me to my question: when they decide to bring people back like Sid Vicious and Trish Stratus and Lita and Carlito and Chavo Guerrero, the old heads, do them people deserve to get title runs when they return? Because from my understanding, the only reason they bring them back anyway is just so they can put people over. They're not even there as who they were before. So it's like for him to even request winning another title is like shit. Lita ain't win one. Trish ain't win one. Uh, I don't see anyone for real. Shit, I expected Edge to win a title when he made his return. Like this nigga survived, overcame a neck injury. He was out for over like 10 plus years, came back and was moving like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even get a title. So it's like, should these people get more respect on them? Should they get title runs after they've been away from the business? Or is it just
It depends on how you utilize the superstars because yeah, some of them I agree. Some of these superstars come back, they might can't give you so many dates, so we might we can't really run with you like we used to. So I might need you to make another name in the company. Like we got somebody on the rise, so it'll be a situation like that, and I need the rub from you to get this person over. Most of the time it do be that, but you had situations where old stars came back and it uh fit right in the new system like how Shawn Michaels came back from the back injury. He won the world title at Elimination Chamber. Hulk Hogan came back and won the undisputed title in '02. Old head Hulk won the title. They put the title on him. Yeah, he probably didn't keep it long, but they put it on him. And that's what I'm saying. It's examples like that. But it depends on I guess it depends on the physical fit of the wrestler and the schedule, because the schedule play a role. If I can't use you, and you know what I'm saying, if you got something different in your life, because most of these women like they probably got kids and all that, they can't give you a lot of dates, and I don't know if I can put it on you. But if you're gonna be committed, yeah, I think the old superstars can get a run with the title. It just depends on how they present it.
let me see. The Rock versus Edge would have been fucking fire, bro. That would have been money.
But I would say with that, the Rock and Edge, I wish they could have wrestled back then, like back when Edge was hot and the Rock was still hot, but he was kind of transitioning to Hollywood all the way. Like the Rock was still a wrestler, but he was pondering with Hollywood. And Edge was on the rise. I think that would have been a perfect time to kind of do a feud before he step off. The Rock versus Edge. They the same age, by the way.
I would have loved to see that match. I don't care now or later. That would have been a good match, regardless. Kurt Angle versus MJF. That would have been a good match. I don't like how Angle left. The Angle from back then versus MJF would have been dope. I would have loved to see that. Um, Lita versus Melina. That's
Nice.
that's an interesting one.
That's nice.
Hold on. You say I didn't piece it together until you said something. Six ring Triple H and O2 dropped title.
Yeah, he dropped the title. He dropped his title to Hulk Hogan in Backlash. He lost, and and then he got it back. I think he got it back, but they fought again and Triple H beat him. But they gave Hogan a run once he turned from NWO and came back to Hulkamania. Yeah, he was still over at that time, so they gave him a run.
Man, as much hate as I've heard Hogan get, this nigga didn't want to put nobody over. He wanted the attention all on him. If anybody should have been putting people over, Hogan should have been putting people over.
But it's crazy because you didn't even have back then when Hogan was getting out like that, and he was the Undertaker did beat him the next month at Judgment Day. But when when he was putting people when he wasn't putting people over, he was refusing to put people over. It was only a big deal to people backstage. You didn't have social media to annihilate Hogan for doing all these things like you got today. That was gone. So a lot of the fan base was blind back then. You know, they come to these arenas, all they knew was Hogan. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really praise the other superstars as much. I mean, you love your Jake the Snakes and all of them, Mr. Perfect, Piper. They was household names, but everybody was behind Hawk, and that's the way Hawk had it set up, and that's the way it was ran.
Personally, for me, I call Hogan Hulk, Ho and Terry. Yeah, after I heard the story about how he lied on Undertaker, man, he said that man injured him in the ring and he faked the whole thing. Like, that's some corny shit, bro. That's corny as hell. And I that's why I did the joint I did, man. I didn't know that he had that much hatred towards them from people. That's why they booed his ass when he tried to come back. I got you now.
It's just karma catching up with the Hawk. I mean, it's the price of fame. See what Hogan getting a life lesson right now. The Hulk Hogan's mindset was, he wanted to stay in that spotlight. Hulkamania rules and all of that, and he wanted to rule over every superstar that came along. He even was threatened by all the people from the new era, the Stone Colds, the Rocks, the Cenas, anybody that came up big after him. He felt like he was over everybody. But see, he's understanding now because if you live for the cheers, you're gonna die by the boos. And Hulk Hogan's legend is dying by these boos right now because he forcefully, was trying to live for the cheers forcefully. He didn't let nobody else shine the way he should have. I mean, he did put Ultimate Warrior over, but you know what I'm saying, that didn't pan out right. He did put Warrior over. So it ain't too many people he put over in that run. But I think at the time, Ultimate Warrior was on that level of a Hulk Hogan as far as with the fan base.
The only reason Hogan put him over was because that was one of the few people who had a name that was equal to his. If you wasn't somebody that was really known or you had that same level of pop, nah, he wasn't fucking with you. Hulk Hogan broke his back during a phone call with Vince McMahon. I wanted to put over John Cena at WrestleMania 22, but Hogan decided, okay, all right, all right. I'm mad. You know, Hogan is on my list, on my dream list. The fact that his name has popped up here in this conversation is perfect because one match that's on my list that he fucked up is Austin Hogan. That is one match that I wanted.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that situation. I'm glad you brought that scenario up because right now, since we talking about Hogan, let's talk about when he came back to the WWF after leaving them, going to WCW. Yeah, he left them. He left them in what, '93. Hulkamania ran wild all them years. All the first 8 WrestleManias was all about building up the Hulksters. Hulk Hogan. He main evented. He headlined 8 straight WrestleManias. Then he go to WCW. He created the NWO. They killing it over there. They stomping WWF the hell out with the NWO. They kicking that ass. It forced Vince McMahon hand. He had to create new people. But he ended up doing it. He even had to get himself in the storyline. So the rivalry between Vince McMahon and Stone Cold kicked that ass back, and they end up winning the Monday Night Wars with everybody else contribution, but they ended up winning the Monday Night Wars. That was the to me that was the greatest time to be a wrestling fan. It's never been as hot as that point, and it never was. It never because you had competition. So it's a little comp now with AEW, but it wasn't when that NWO was at its peak. It was the best competition in wrestling history. When you got WWF and WCW, but back to your point with Hogan and Austin. Hogan came back. He was supposed to. That was a time right there, and this is also on my list. The Hogan thing was Hogan came back. He felt like he built WWF from the ground up, uh, and he felt like he was the biggest name, biggest draw ever at that point. We talking 2002, and he felt like it wouldn't even be a damn company if it wasn't for him. So he felt like he couldn't do the honors with Stone Cold when it was presented. He didn't want to. Some about he didn't want to do the honors. He didn't want to put Austin over. So they said, "Will Austin put him over?" Stone Cold said, "No, he's not doing it. He wouldn't. He wouldn't put Hogan over." Austin felt like he made a big enough name for himself, and he said he shouldn't be the one having to do it. It should be Hogan. Anyway, they went with Stone Cold versus Scott Hall that year because they couldn't get an agreement, and Hulk Hogan went to The Rock. Now The Rock was a different story a little bit. The Rock was a big name too, but he was going into Hollywood and he was much younger. And I guess because of the ties that Hulk Hogan had with the uh, the Rock family, I think he even knew Rock when he was small, so he didn't mind doing that for Rock, but he didn't want to do it for. He had an issue with doing it for Austin for whatever reason. He didn't want to put Austin over, and I don't understand that because if you agreeing to put the Rock over, what the hell is the big difference between the Rock and Stone Cold? I feel like Stone Cold at that point that he could have did it. I think he contributed more to the Attitude Era and kicking your ass in that Monday Night War than The Rock. I'm not The Rock did his thing too, but let's keep it a whole buck. If it wasn't for Stone Cold driving in big trucks and Lamborghinis and dropping stunners all over the place, they wouldn't have beat the NWO with the Monday Night Wars. It was not gonna happen. That was ratings. That was big time ratings. So I just felt that Hogan owed he should have gave back for that right there because what you tried to do with NWO, you didn't overtake the company and they came back and kicked your ass. That was the whole beef, the Monday Night Wars. They beat them in ratings.
Hogan fucked up a lot of money and the potential for. I didn't care for Hogan versus The Rock. I ain't gonna hold you. I wasn't excited for it one bit. It felt forced. It didn't feel natural to me, and it was just on paper because of the name. I think Hogan is looking at it. Well, he's The Rock. He does movies, or he's probably the one that's more likely to get more visibility towards him and shit like that. But nah, I didn't really enjoy that match. I didn't enjoy that feud. And rest in peace to Scott Hall, but Austin versus Scott Hall was not the one. Nah.
Uh-oh. That was forced too. As a fan watching wrestling, it was WrestleMania 18 too. as a fan, even watching it, you see the storyline with the NWO and all that. It's like, wow, we actually got the NWO here, and we got the Attitude Era here, and it's like the Monday Night Wars is crossing, and you finally can get one of these dream matches, and it came down on paper that you can't. I think the whole reason for this is that you couldn't get some of these outcomes. You couldn't get the wrestlers to agree. You couldn't get them to agree to put the other one over.
Yo, this shit is crazy, bro. You looked at it and it was like, all right, you got Hogan, Austin, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. You got all of these people there looking at it on camera. I'm looking at this shit like the natural order of this would be Austin, Hogan, Kevin Nash, The Rock, or The Rock and Scott Hall. And they look like they just swapped out names and just kind of rearranged this shit. It just looks so obvious, but it is what it is. So I gave you one that I wanted. This one I wanted too, and they're not in any specific order, but I wanted Sting versus Undertaker. I absolutely needed that. I prayed for it. I was highly disappointed. They dropped the ball so many times on this one. It was already at a point to where I was starting to lose my love for wrestling because they kept on cheating the fans out of quality product. This one hit my soul a little different because they had Sting. I never thought he would ever come over to the WWE. They had him. They got him there. I was locked in. The debut he made, all that. What they do? This is why I don't fuck with Triple H. One of the reasons. You get him. Who gets the first stab at him? Triple H. Why did Triple H need that match? Nobody asked for Triple H versus Sting. But he got dibs. So you got Sting over here. After all the beef, all the little shit that was going on between him and Vince McMahon and all that, you finally get him. You give him to Triple H. What happens with Triple H? They screw him. Who's next on the list? Who's next to get Sting? Even though if you look at your timeline, you go to your Twitter accounts and you scroll all your old footage, everybody said Undertaker, Sting. Nobody asked for no fucking Seth Rollins. How the fuck did we get Seth Rollins versus Sting? From the minute that man came over, they ain't do nothing but shit on him. How do you fuck up something that could have made you so much money? I'll never understand it. I was so angry with that shit. This is why I don't like the Shield. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the Shield. Triple H, all that, anybody that is attached to Triple H, I got an issue with because of that privilege and that biases. The only match that would have made sense was Taker Sting. You could have did whatever the hell you wanted with them afterwards. Undertaker in my universe, in my timeline, Undertaker Sting WrestleMania undefeated streak. That's how that was supposed to play out. In my universe, it was never supposed to be Taker losing to Brock Lesnar. They fucked up so much money. And I tell them, you could have put me on the creative team. I would have wrote this shit way better. Y'all would have made a lot more money, and I could have made sure that this shit went down the way it was supposed to. If it, like, I don't know, man. That pissed me off so much. I'm more angry about this than I am about Austin and Hogan.
Because you actually, I mean, well, both in both incidences, you had a shot to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing was Sting was WCW through and through, and then Undertaker was WWF through and through. So to me, that's what really built it up. Like, dang, these two be holding it down for their company. I want to see what's gonna happen if they ever meet up. But in order for them to meet up, somebody would have had to jump. Undertaker had a chance to jump back when NWO started taking over, and they would start kicking their ass in the ratings real bad. Undertaker didn't jump. He could have jumped. Sting should have jumped when they bought WCW in '01. I think that would have been the time to do it. But according to Sting felt like he would have went over there then, but he felt like the shit that they just did, what you just said with the Triple H shit and all that, he felt like they would have shitted on him. That's what he said. He didn't feel like it was genuine. He said with him coming over there, and then he came out publicly and said, "Shit, I want to wrestle the Undertaker." Undertaker didn't really make it a big deal, but he said, "If the fans want to do it, if the fans want it, I want it." And then they asked Undertaker, "So why didn't you wrestle him?" I don't know. Undertaker said, "I don't know. Like, why didn't I wrestle him? I don't make the calls. That was a Vince McMahon move. Triple H wrestling him instead of the Undertaker at WrestleMania was blasphemy. That was blasphemy. That was a slap. That was a slap in the face. And to me, I think from business wise, I think it was a slap to the fans because it was like you should have came over when I told you to, and you didn't. They got Booker T and all them, but they wanted Sting. Sting was the biggest piece of that puzzle. That when they did that invasion shit, if y'all remember the invasion, when they did that invasion shit, Sting would have changed the game with that if he would have came over there. Because he still had Stone Cold and all of them. If Sting would have made that jump, it would have changed the game. And he didn't do it. So I think it was probably payback for that, why they didn't do that match. Well, yeah, for sure. That would have been a classic. Even if they got older, and when he got older, he came. It still would. To me, the story was the biggest draw with them two because people wanted to see the gimmicks, how it would have looked. A face off would have been good enough for me. Even if they did a face off, that would have been good enough. But I was going to ask you, uh, what's your honorable mentions? Then we can get into the list. Like, what's some matches that I know you ain't gonna put on here that
Well,
that
shit.
you probably would have liked to see.
Well, you already got two on my list. So, honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. If I could name one, Probably it would have been dope to see. It would have been dope to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Shawn Michaels versus Dolph.
Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. I know people probably think I'm joking or I'm trolling. I'm not trolling. I'm dead serious.
Nah, nah,
Um,
because it's a lot of people that there's a lot of people that looked up to Shawn when Shawn was doing his thing. A lot of people looked up to Shawn Michaels and they kind of imitated him and all of that. You know, you had at least 4 or 5 dudes in the company now that try to be like Michaels. So yeah, he's one of them people for sure.
people don't put enough respect on Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is one of the best in ring wrestlers and performers. That even though he was small in stature, he performed just like he was a main event. So for me personally, his energy, his in ring, and he's good on the mic. He was the only reason people had an issue with Dolph was because he's small. If he
Shawn Michaels was small too.
but he Shawn Michaels still got him by a little bit, not by much, but he got him.
I'm just saying, you see Shawn Michaels.
No, no. You're right, but I'm saying he still got him by like a little bit, not by much, but they don't.
I think it was politics with the Dolph Ziggler. It's about sometimes it just comes down to who you like. That's what Dolph Ziggler was expressing. Politics. I think he did a lot of things good for his career. I mean, he did get a world title, but you know, his
Nobody
last one.
nobody remember it. You'll probably remember the Miz title run before you remember his. All right, who had a better reign as champion, the Miz or Dolph Ziggler?
Miz, he had the belt more times. I mean, he didn't. Dolph only got an opportunity. He didn't. Miz got more chances and opportunities than Dolph.
But was the Miz a better overall
Nah,
wrestler?
not in ring. Not in ring. No, better talker. Yeah,
Think so?
yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna. Let me
That's the
stop
Miz.
because
That was the Miz gimmick
I'm
right there.
tripping.
Miz had
I,
that.
like y'all don't know this. I used to watch the Miz before he even stepped in a wrestling ring. The Miz was on MTV's Real World. He was doing reality shit before this. I already knew he was going to be the guy on the microphone that knew how to talk and shit because he already
Mike.
had plenty of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but he definitely ain't have Dolph, not in that area. But we talking about my honorable mentions and my stuff. We haven't even gotten to you. You haven't named one person yet.
Oh yeah, I was gonna name him after yours. One of my matches that I would have loved to see from to was the Fiend. I wish I could have seen the Fiend and Mankind go at it. I would say boiler room brawl match. The Fiend versus Mankind. Good old Mick and Bray getting it in. That would have been a brawl for it all, right?
Cold, cold, man. Yeah,
That's
mankind.
a good old honorable mention. Got to put Bray up in there.
Shout out to Mick Foley too, though, because
Oh yeah, hardcore legend.
that would have been a nice little face off as well. Like the storyline itself, him in the boiler room, Bray. He, Shit, you don't know where Bray gonna be at. It didn't really matter. That the fun house. Bray in the fun house, Mankind in the boardroom talking this shit. That'd
Have a
be
nice day. Have a nice day.
yeah, that'd have been interesting. Damn, that's a good one. Shit. Another honorable mention. Damn. Lex Luger versus Cesaro.
And I was just thinking about Cesaro too.
That would
That's a
have
good
been
one.
yeah, that would have been dope. Cesaro is like that, man. I don't care what nobody say. Dang.
Cesaro, but see, Cesaro was Lex Luger was the total package. He's strong and stuff, but Cesaro had that and technique. He had both. He can fight two different styles.
Cesaro versus Psycho Sid, Cesaro versus Crush, Cesaro versus fucking what's my man name? Damn. Not Kevin Nash, but Diesel. That would have been fire.
Yeah, Cesaro versus motherfucking Ken Shamrock. Let's roll. The Warzone Ken Shamrock versus Cesaro. The ankle lock versus the neutralizer. What's good?
Yeah, that would have been fire. That would have been fire. Eddie Guerrero versus I just had it too. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. Eddie Guerrero versus Mr. Perfect.
Hmm. That's a real interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Who you think would have got that?
Damn, bro. I might have to say I might be going with Eddie on that one.
I think it would have went. It would have went. It would have been a long match.
It would have.
And they both up. They probably both up there having that match right now. Probably
What?
dream match. Hmm. What about Seth Rollins versus Ravishing Rick Rude?
Shit. Damn, man. See, I think I think Rick Rude was a better closer, personally. But
That Rude Awakening was special, Skip.
yeah, so it's like whose timing is better when it comes down to it. I'm gonna go Rick Rude. I'm gonna go Rick Rude. Take away the pedigree and the curb stomp. I don't got Seth winning that one.
Rude was technical, strong, but I think he was more physical out the two. Like he was aggressive. Rude was aggressive. If he can give Ultimate Warrior the business like he was giving them, then yeah, Rude had that aggressive in him.
I gave you 2 on my dream list. I think one of yours is similar to mine. I got 2. I need 2 from you.
Well, I mean, since you don't want to do any order, I was gonna do order, but if you don't want to do it like that, that's fine.
I mean, I don't have a specific order. It's just you can
Well,
do.
I'll give you 2 real quick. I'll give you 2. I'm gonna go Daniel Bryan versus Chris Benoit submission match. Give me 30 minutes of that submission of that tap life. Let's go hard.
That's fine.
Prime versus prime. Let me get that.
I ain't mad at that one.
And then I'm gonna give you one of my Mount Rushmores is the ego bowl. I call this one the ego bowl. Give me the great one versus the heartbreak kid. Rock, the Rock versus Shawn Michaels. What a missed opportunity. It could have happened. We had 99. We had 2000. From 99 to 2002, this match was supposed to happen, but somebody didn't want to work with the other one because of some personal issues. They both have shared the ring. They shared microphones. They shared storylines, but they never stepped in there one on one. Prime versus prime.
Michael's got that.
Call that the ego bowl.
Michael got that kickoff though.
Oh yeah, classic. That would have been classic right there. That's WrestleMania. The Rock versus Shawn Michaels is WrestleMania. No doubt about it.
Yeah. That was on my list too, so I ain't knocking it. I had to choose.
Your 2 was on my list too. The Taker and Sting, and yeah, they was on my list.
All right, I'm gonna give you 2 more. Ken Shamrock and Chris Benoit.
Mm.
And then the other one, and this is where it gets tricky. See, because I don't want to repeat names. So I'm going to say.
You can. We can throw it all out the window. I mean, sometimes it's hard to do that. If you want to repeat one, go ahead.
I want to say Brock Lesnar versus Ultimate Warrior.
Okay. I think that'd have been dope.
Yeah.
That would have been dope. Man, I'm gonna say that's your 2. I'm gonna go. John Cena versus Bruno Sammartino. I think that would have been nice. Prime versus prime.
All right.
And then I'm gonna go with Kurt Angle. See, I got Kurt Angle versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Iron Man match.
Sweet.
Who the best technical wrestler? Let's go.
Okay. I'm liking
Step
this.
it up. I told you got to bring your A game, champ.
All right. Shit. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw in two that I think deserve to be here. AJ Lee versus Sasha Banks.
Mm.
Got,
Mm.
gotcha. I gotcha.
That's your get back, huh? You had to get back. Okay.
Let's see. Kane, 97 Kane versus Andre. No, not Andre. The Mighty Gonzalez.
The Mighty Gonzalez versus Kane.
Yep. Shit, we got Undertaker versus him. I want to see Kane versus him.
I'm taking shit. I'm taking Kane all the way. It wasn't really too many people that could get in front of that 97 Kane. Kane would have probably dogged that ass. Kane was different. That Kane right there was different. All right. All right. See how we doing it. All right. So I'm gonna go with Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus. WrestleMania Dream Match. I'll take that one.
All right.
Then I'm gonna go with hold on. I'm gonna go with Monday Night Warfare. I'm gonna go with Goldberg versus Stone Cold.
You motherfucker.
Let me get that.
Dom the Monko.
Bang, 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 bang.
You see the title, 6 rings, right? Got the roll.
How did I forget about that shit?
I got one more. You almost called it. I got one more.
Hold on. I got you.
I'm gonna let you get back first.
All right. Shit. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Daniel Bryan.
Respect.
Bray Wyatt versus Papa Shango.
So it break. So not you say not the Fiend, but break. It's regular break. What?
No, the Fiend.
Fiend. Okay.
The Fiend. Yeah.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mr. Randy Orton versus Mr. Perfect. And then I'm gonna go with a dream match that I wish that I could have saw. It almost happened. I'm gonna go with the Undertaker, the Phenom versus the eighth wonder of this world, Andre the Giant. Could have happened.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at that at all. Nice lineup, sir.
Appreciate it.
You fucked me up with that Goldberg Austin joint. Um,
I had to get back because your first two was in my Mount Rushmore, so I had to get back. That Take His Sting, you got me, and then you started it off with my number one, Stone Cold and Hogan. I'm like, you hate making me and shit. So I was like, oh,
you know, just for the fun of it though, I do want to throw in a tag team dream match.
let's go. Let's do that.
I would have liked to see DX versus NWO. Stable for stable.
Faction versus faction, right? I mean, we got a little bit of it, but it was more like a tease with that Triple H Sting match. It was a tease. It wasn't like the real deal though. But the crazy part about it is one of the members was in both of them.
Yeah.
So that's crazy work.
You would have had to pick a side. That's what have made that shit more interesting.
Yeah, you gonna be Six or X-Pac. Which one?
Shit, he could have came in that bitch as 1, 2, 3 kid.
Oh man. I got another one they should have did. They should have did Batista versus Brock Lesnar. They should have did that feud.
Oh.
They blew that.
Shit, I forgot about that one. I forgot about that one.
Brock versus Batista should have been on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they fought in OVW, but that was before they got signed. They wasn't even signed yet.
Yeah, that shit don't count.
Yeah, but on the main roster, nah. We never got a chance to see a Brock Lesnar versus Batista in 23 years. It never was a match. Never was a feud. Never was a storyline. It was close. We got close though. Back when Randy had both of them belts. And Brock was there and Batista came back, but they teased it, but they never did it. They just teased the fans with it, like a stare down.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
And I got another one with Goldberg. The other one they could do is Goldberg versus Ryback, but that might still happen, maybe, if we can get Ryback back.
That's not really a dream match to me because Ryback hasn't done anything to warrant that type of status. It would just be ball guy versus ball guy to me. Like if Ryback never left, I wonder where he would be at right now. Ryback was nice though.
Yeah, he was just he ripped off Goldberg's gimmick though. So I think that's what kind of he didn't rip it all the way off, but they were saying that he had some comparisons and stuff with Goldberg. How they was trying to build him up at first. So, but it's some new blood out there right now that can probably get in some dream matches. Like one that I know they might do. They ain't do it yet, but they might do it is Braun Breaker versus Roman Reigns. I can see that playing out. That's gonna end up happening. It's gonna happen one maybe this year. If not this year, the first of next year.
I don't know enough about bro to make any assessments. So whatever's happening now, that's on you.
But I give you a tag team match real quick. It would have been nice though, man. Uh, I'm gonna go with the Steiner brothers because that's Braun Breaker people. The Steiner brothers versus versus LOD. Fuck it. That would have been a good one.
Hmm. Evolution versus the Hurt Business.
Faction versus faction. Give me the four horsemen then. Give me the four horsemen out there versus the Shield. Let's roll. Put the Shield against the horsemen.
Put the Radicals against the Shield.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Shit out of
Oh,
like
Dean Ambrose and them. Perry Saturn with the one eye.
yeah, out of been dope.
But I know people been sleeping on my man, the Iceman though. Dean Malenko was that dude, cruiserweight.
Oh yeah.
The man, they call him the man of 1,000 holes.
Him and Brian would have been dope. Shit, Dean Malenko put on with a lot of good people. That's a whole fact. Shout outs to Robert Brown, man. You had some nice ass matchups, bro. I wouldn't have mind seeing Austin Booker T. Well, shit, the Austin Booker T shit when they was in the store fighting in a little drink. That was funny as hell. Austin and Lashley would have been dope. I wouldn't have been mad at a like that. That Lita and Melina drink would have been good.
For sure. China. What about China versus Rhea Ripley?
You're more sold on Rhea Ripley than I am.
You gotta watch her, bro. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Charlotte versus China. It would have been nice too. But Rhea Ripley, yeah, she the real deal, bro. No doubt. Mommy the real deal. But I'm not going it was one more that well, there's a plenty of more, but it was just one more specific one that could have happened but didn't happen. And you and me both know why it didn't happen. Remember that remember that old show called Controversial? What was the name of that with Mean Gene? Yeah, that was like the first topic, man. That match that didn't happen was Brock Lesnar versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, and everybody was kind of anticipating that match to happen. And going back to what we were talking about with Hogan and Austin, Stone Cold didn't mind. He came out and said he didn't mind putting Brock Lesnar over, but it got to make sense and it got to make money. He never had a problem with putting nobody over. You can't be in this profession and don't try to pass the damn torch. Like Hogan should have put Austin over. That's the way it should have went. Hogan should have put Bret Hart over. Bret Hart mad at him for that. How the hell you gonna go get uh Hogan was at that point was the king of WWF. You had Ric Flair, the king of WCW. Why would you go get a WCW guy to do a WWF guy job? How credible is that? That was just crud ball. So
Mhm.
Ric Flair went on and did it because he wrestled in a lot of promotions. So to him, he looking at Brett like, man, I ain't got no problems doing that for you, Brett. I got you. Some people do, some people got a problem with it. I look at it like this. People get so caught up with wins and losses, like these dream matches and shit, but people don't understand. If you can go into a match and come out better than you was with these people, you win. It don't matter who win or lose. You become a bigger name with these matches. That's the whole point. Food for
So
thought.
it's just all in how you execute it, though. That should mean everything. Overall, though, not mad. Some good names, a great list. I wish we could have got these. There might be a couple in there that could still happen. I'm not holding my breath, but yeah, salutes to you, salutes to Rob, salute to everybody who pulled up for the stream. If you got the list, share it, post it in the comment section.
CM Punk versus Brett.
Yeah,
AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. It's
yeah,
just good. It's just good conversation. Who knows who will win it? It'd be nice.
yeah.
But good stream, bro. Good stream. You know what I'm saying? You had a decent list.
Likewise, likewise.
We're gonna come back with something, similar. Might not be the wrestling, but it'll be something similar.
Right.
Yeah, but I encourage y'all to drop y'all list. At least drop your top five and see what we think. Drop your list.
Salutes to everybody that's in here. I want to thank you for pulling up. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. This is about to be a busy week. You know the lineup is about to be crazy. Conversations about to be crazy. I got some stuff cooking up. Make sure you locked in. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a blessed week. Drive safe. And see you tomorrow, Lord willing.
Randy Orton versus The Rock. Austin versus Cena. Let's go.